Hey guys, this is Light, and welcome to my highly anticipated Turn 2 unit album. And these are the units I pick when I want to, cringe someone with ER. So it's not really going to include units that are like nuclear, like Celine, Freeren. These are strictly like Turn 2 ER units. So yeah, let's get into it. I'll have another video about those units, but this is focused on like the Turn 2 units and how I build them and why. So I think I just sorted this by ER, so whatever. So we have Christy, very standard, triple ER set, ER everything. Ideally you'd like 30% ER on every piece, and then you'd reach like way over 300, which is just about enough to resist everything for your backline. And of course you're gonna give her Bastion of Prelucia, because, you can give your backline a free shield plus immunity that will likely not be strippable. So yeah, very, very good. Um, Although this is kind of on the low side. I know like higher end Christies have like 350 or something, and they're like completely safe from debuffed, or from getting debuffed, but I'll typically put units behind her that already have a bit of ER, so that's fine for me. Yeah, ideally, nothing matters besides having 300 plus ER. If you want to min-max your build though, Protection Set Christy with 300 ER is technically better than this, because you can then also put her on Adamant Shield, but I do not have 40% ER protection pieces, unfortunately. But that would be her best in slot build. And we have Arunka. This is my experimental Rocket Punch Arunka. So the meta requires you to pretty much have like 200 ER on all your units that might tank RNL. Because like you need 200 ER to you know, resist her, as long as she doesn't have like an effectiveness ring or something. And like I pick this Arunka when I feel like the other person, or it's usually when Harsetti is pre-banned, and I feel like the other person is going to aggro on me, like without free run or something. Or like the other person will go really, really aggro, and I'll need like extra sources of damage, because it's very, very hard to pick damage dealers against aggro players. Still experimental, but I think the 200 ER is very important. And yeah, 2000 ER, or 200 ER, 3000 defense, 20k HP, rocket punch. I if I'm fighting a turn 2 player though, or if I'm fighting someone who doesn't pre-ban Study and they're like, picking Byblis, I do have a Crown Arunka that I would pick over this. This one is strictly for Study pre-ban when I feel like it's going to be difficult for me to pick a damage dealer because you're being so aggressive. And so I would want to squeeze out damage from units that, typically don't do damage. So yeah. And then we have Byblis. Byblis is a very, very important unit. But my Byblis gets targeted by RNL like constantly, and yeah, you do need 200 ER to deal with her. And open imprint is always better than self imprint almost, because like team HP imprint, one of the most broken imprints in the game, gives you tons of survivability. It adds like an extra 1000 HP to all your units. It's really, really good. And you don't need effectiveness, but I prefer having 100 to tag like the standard units. Is definitely a luxury though. 200 ER is of course mandatory. Honestly, a lot of people will say like this is really slow, but I haven't had issues with it. Usually the game is over, or the game is won by turn 1 anyway. I don't really need a second S3 or a second S2. But this is the magic number though. If you're building Byblis, you want to be at least this bulky, because at this bulk, this is roughly when you will not die to Selene and Tori in one shot. There are nuclear Selenes, nuclear Tories, they're like really slow, high damage, and the only thing they do is one shot you, but if you survive the one shot, you're in a pretty good spot. So, and I decided that this was the minimum bulk for it, but more is better. I don't think I could change your build if I wanted to, because like my high gear score gear has effectiveness, and like yeah. But if you can't get the same stats, I would drop the effectiveness if possible. Maybe you can. Oh, it depends. Maybe you can shack a bit of defensive stats, but I'm not sure. Or you can just use self HP imprint. I'm only built like this because I don't need her imprint. And then we have C Armin. I actually think C Armin is pretty good right now. She's pretty similar to Arowell, except she she doesn't like protect your team like as much. Cause like defense buff lasts a lot longer than like a big shield and defense, or rather than like one turn invincibility, right? But C Armin does give decent mitigation against photo thieves. I think the one thing C Armin has going for her is that you know, in this meta everyone has photogenic on every thief. And it's like if you pick Estelle, she's not mitigation because you know, her mitigation doesn't work against photogenic, but C Armin has a 25% damage reduction passive that will work against it, which is really nice. And you can make Arowell similar to her by giving her adamant shield. She'll reduce photo thief damage by 16% and it's really good. But yeah, C Armin, definitely a decent unit right now, and she has ER imprint as well, which is really nice. And for like, you know, helping out your other units with resisting stuff. Belian. I'm not too sure about this unit. I just built her 200 ER. And I do think the speed is pretty important because like you need speed to like pressure the other person. Like Belian is a very useful unit because you know she provokes people. So it's very bad for like an enemy cleaver if she takes a turn. And you know, if she's base speed or HP boot, she's not gonna take a turn, she's not gonna be threatening and like whatever. So you know, 200 ER and then whatever, and speed boot with like whatever stats possible. Like the HP is pretty low, but like whatever. You don't need a lot of damage to kill cleavers, and usually you only pick Belian into cleavers unless you're playing protections at Belian with like Ludwig or something. Then I have haste. Haste is my current tinfoil against RNL. I have a theory that his S3 can just one-shot RNL for free. But I haven't gotten a chance to try it yet, but it's my working theory. I'm pretty sure he's usable, but I just need the proof. But I'm pretty sure he's usable. I have Elena. I'll pick Elena against like the RNL and Bryceria cleavers. They're really annoying. And of course, like you need 200 ER so you don't get tagged by the stupid RNL. And then you still need decent speed for your S2 to cut people. So yeah, very standard build. Obviously faster is better. Like if you're 290, then you can, you know, you'll naturally outspeed like Strazes and stuff. But yeah, this is realistic for me. So yeah, pretty standard. And then I have my Crown Arunka. This is the one I will usually pick because if someone picks Byblis, they have a high chance of picking free run, and you need Crown to deal with free run. So in like slower games against Byblis and I expect a free run, I will usually pick this one. Like 9 out of 10 games I will pick this one. Because yeah, Crown is just really good against free run. It gives you mitigation, it removes her souls to give you window to kill her. And of course she's close to 200 ER, and I will almost always pick her with my Bastion of Hope or Aria, so I don't care about her ER not being 200. Then you have Moon Bunny, she's 200 ER with the sensor. I only pick her against RNL, but I don't really like her because I feel like she's useless if you don't play really aggressively. But yeah, you want her as fast as possible with a decent amount of bulk so you don't get one-tapped by like random stuff, and then enough ER to not get feared by RNL, and then this thing will proc and then you'll cut them, which is really nice. And Maid Chloe, pretty experimental still. I think she is viable as like a mitigation for Ludwig, but also you do need a good chunk of ER. But nice thing is she has an artifact that gives ER. And like her passive is really good for your team as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna use her as mitigation for Ludwig, who is pretty much a huge threat right now. Then I have Ludwig on ER. I think ER on him is really good, because everyone's game plan is just kill him or just debuff him. And if they can't do either, then they're screwed. Alternatively, you can just run Guiding Light, but like, whatever, right? It's up to you. I prefer ER because it's really funny when people think they can debuff me and then they miss and lose. But yeah, I think ER is really good on him, although it is a bit hard to build. But yeah, very nice. You definitely don't need weakening on him either. I think he's already gear intensive enough. You definitely don't need weakening. But obviously you need his artifact as well. Then I have Salome, 270 speed feels like the minimum for her, because you know you need her to be like a little bit threatening. And I have her 200 ER with Strax Gauntlet because Salome is a prime target for RNL to just kill instantly. So yeah, I want her to be pickable, so we built her 200 ER. It cannot be helped. And we have Arowell. Arrow's passive gives her like, I don't remember, but I think it gives her like 70 or like 100 ER at 30k HP. I don't remember, but it's like she's a bit over 200 right now, which is really nice. And she's just really tanky with the speed boot, of course. Nothing special. And we have Adamant Shield because earlier I said you know, we need to mitigate stuff like Tori and Celine even if they're on photogenic. And the only way you can do that is with stuff like Adamant Shield and like, you know, and like shields in general and defense buff. So Arowell is really nice for slowing down Celine and Tori. Yeah, very standard build. Speed is not a priority because she gets insane CR push. You don't really need effectiveness, you just need to be as tanky as possible so you don't instantly die to your damage share. Then we have Yulha. This is one of my most picked units. Yeah, she is 260. You can argue this is a little slow. I do feel like it's a little slow sometimes and it barely cuts. But the thing about Yulha, she is very prone to people just like trying to murder her. And that includes stuff like RNL. So I built my Yulha 200 ER to deal with RNL, and I gave her my Bastion of Hope because she's my most picked unit. You want to give Bastion of Hope to the unit that will always be on your team. So yeah, Bastion of Hope, Yulha. She's just tanky enough to like, you know, survive a nuclear free run S3. And also she is fast enough for Ruele to push her with Idol's Cheer to cut. So yeah, you need to be at least 260. I would love to be 270, but I can't really squeeze the stats out anymore. But yeah, 260, 270 is the sweet spot for Idol's Cheer cut, or if you're a Sword Storm, you know, it will also cut. Like 130 ER plus 70 equals 200. Now I have an ER diene. This is like what, 320 ER with her bonus ER from her immortal. So she's pretty annoying. You can't like stun her with like Kali or anything usually. Yeah, nothing special. It's just a standard diene, but like without effectiveness, it just has ER instead. Yeah, Ruele. I don't build my Ruele 200 ER because I don't really care about her getting debuffed. Like whatever, like you can get debuffed. Like whatever, just die and then cleanse yourself. Like death is a cleanse for her. So like whatever, she can die. Although I am leaning towards being 200 ER because sometimes I get provoked and I get annoyed. It is I'm pondering it, but right now I don't think she really needs the ER. And then I have Notos. I will always first pick him if he's available because he's really annoying. You basically can't fight him as a turn 2 player because, you know, people would just cleave with him, and I don't really care about ER on him. I used to have him on Bastion of Hope, and then I realized even if you do that, you probably want to you probably want to build like, or no, when you're drafting, you usually draft him with Christy, and I'll put him in the back with Christy regardless. But I don't care enough to have ER on him. Although ER, I did try Bastion Notos and it was pretty funny. But I think the Bastion needs to go to someone who is picked more often. But yeah, and also I do have a little bit of ER though, so like with Christy, this is gonna be 350 ER, which is nice. Then I have Aria, Aria. I have a little bit of ER on her because her passive gives her like 200, so she's gonna be like close to 300 with this or something like that, which is nice. You want Aria to have as much damage as possible. And you can use HP neck if you needed to round out your stats. I use crit damage neck because I have a lot of HP substats. If you have a good HP neck, you have to supplement it with pieces that have a lot of crit damage, and vice versa. But this is my Aria. You do want as much damage as possible because when you superhuman her and soul burn her S3, it's gonna do nuclear damage and you need it to one-shot stuff. One-shotting units is very, very important in this meta, and if you're short of damage, tough luck. But yeah, Yulha plus Aria is really, really good right now. And like, the way it works is that you have Thorn of the Blue Rose to soul burn your first S3, and then you S1, and then you have another S3 in Superhuman that will also one-shot something. So Arya can basically kill, in the ideal situation, Arya can kill 3 units by herself. She is a big deal right now in the meta because she is tanky, does a lot of damage, and is debuff resistant. And the shields are also really good at blocking all the raw damage in this game, and there is a lot of raw damage. And yeah, that is my album for my turn 2 units. I will make another album for more aggressive units later because they are very, very different. But anyway, I thank you for watching. I hope the explanations were helpful. Feel free to ask about any of the builds. But anyway, bye bye. Thank you for watching.